I've had a lot of moments where I fell on my face as a comic, but none was more embarrassing than the time that I not only had a terrible set, but then watched Andre go up directly after me and kill. I learned a lot that night. Experience my shame vicariously, won't you? Now, I want to be clear here. This is not a slam or any kind of gossip. I don't know Andre at all, except through his work, which is hilarious. It's a story about me suffering public shame of my own design and trying to learn from it, that's all. Let me explain the open mic pecking order. If you're already going to mics, you know how this works, but for anybody who hasn't yet, this is how it goes. As the host, it behooves you to put known, funny people on stage so that the room feels good to the bar staff and any hapless non-comic patrons who happen to tumble in. That way, they're a little more likely to continue to let you have your mic there. Listening to open micers work through their more gross or shocking than funny stage every week can grind a bar staff down, and the staff usually have the ear of the owner. If the staff hate your mic, it does not have long to live. When I started doing comedy, I was very much in lukewarm paragraph mode. I was writing conversational, long passages with barely even any attempted punchlines in them, let alone solid material. I've talked about this lukewarm paragraph concept a couple of times, so for more videos on that concept, check the links in the description. I don't remember the jokes I was trying to do in particular, but I do remember that the crowd was reacting as though I was putting on a prolonged public demonstration of incontinence. On this particular night, I was making so little headway, I eventually just gave up and got off stage. I felt like everyone in the room was looking at me and thinking words like talentless and possibly buffoon and maybe even murder. A friend and fellow comic came over to me and was like, "Hey man, listen, don't worry about it. This crowd is just really bad. They're not laughing at anything." I started to think, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a bad crowd. Then I heard the host introducing someone who had a few TV credits and had done some movies. I'd never heard of the person before, so as I'm sitting there thinking, you know, let's see how this guy does with this awful, joyless audience, Andre proceeds to absolutely kill. I bet that some of the people who were there that night are still chuckling about it a decade later. Now here's what really sucked for me. He didn't even seem to be doing prepared material. He was just a force of nature. You know, at the time, I would spend all afternoon learning my 5 minutes of lukewarm conversational nonsense, and this dude seemed like he just breezed in off the street with whatever was in his mind. He was looking up at the TV over the bar and just saying whatever came on the TV and turning that into jokes on the spot. That, combined with his commitment and physical confidence, were destroying. I was embarrassed and super jealous, but I was also laughing my ass off. It made me rethink what I was trying to do on stage. And it also made it very clear to me that while some crowds are better than others, some comedians are a lot better than others too. I'm never going to be as physical or chaotic a comic as Andre is, but it was also a really clear signal that if the crowd is dead silent, maybe, just maybe, it's not their fault. Long story short, it really impacted me. I think about it a lot. But I have had a lot of time on stage since then, though, so what would happen if I was on stage before Andre again? Probably the exact same thing, maybe worse. Dude's hilarious. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and maybe jump on the Patreon if you want to help me make more. And if you want to talk about comedy writing with people who are trying to do it in a constructive way, we also have a Discord channel.